हैं फूलों पे भंवरे गा रहे
दीवानी किरणें गा रहे हैं ये पंछी गा रहे
वो बगिया में दो फूलों की हो रही है गुफ्तगू जैसा फिल्मों में होता है हो रहा है हूबहू
आई 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 zubi dubi pampara zubi dubi parampam.
Welcome to Bookcase with me, Manoj Tripathi. Bookcase explores the world of books authors, basically anything you want to know about the literary world at home and abroad. And today we are fortunate enough to have our special guest in the program. His name is Dr. Edwin Thumbo. Welcome to program, gentlemen. Yeah, you were in the English department anyway, but during the nation building period in the 40s and the 50s, do you have trouble picking your favorite language for your poetry?
No. You see, this is the problem. By the time you decide to write poetry, it is too late to pick your language. It's a language you have that you use. You got no choice.
Yep.
You know, you don't say, look, I'm going to write in Chinese or in Tamil and Malay. It's too late. Because when I started writing in about 1950 or 17, 18, English was already my main language.
Does the use of English language in your poetry has any benefits in your literary career in comparison with
in some ways, yes. It gives you a larger audience, leadership in theory,
right.
More places to publish. But at the same time, you also have more competition, which is good. Because I think there are more poets writing in English now than in any other language.
Okay.
Right now.
Right.
And what more? I think the notion of poetry has loosened. Earlier on, the discipline of poetry was much stricter. What passed off as poetry, what qualified as poetry.
Right.
The criteria were more stringent.
Yes.
Nowadays, some of the stuff that passes off as poetry, I find unacceptable. That's personally, and I could be wrong because there has been this gradual loosening.
Of the standards.
You have used the right word, I would use it, but some people will disagree. But you're right, standards are very important.
Right.
Now, I sometimes revise a poem 15, 20 times. And I have a poem called A Poet Reading that's in 3 parts where I talk about the creative act and the critical act. I ask a series of questions. Like, for instance, if you read a poem 6 times, which is the poem to you? The first time you read, the second time, or the third time, or the 6th time? Which is the poem? Of course, you can give different answers. You can say all of them, or you can say the last one. But it cannot be the first one.
Right.
It cannot be the first one. So I asked such questions, you see, and so on. So I had to master the craft. And you revise and you revise and you revise. Now, that few people do nowadays. Because you have to write, at least I think my attitude is I have to write at the limits of my capacity.
Okay.
I don't try to poem second gear, I try to write in overdrive. You have to write it at the limits because otherwise you don't push yourself. You don't push yourself.
Right.
And if you look at your own career, or I look at my own career over the years, I quietly move up into the body of poetry, the technique of poetry. And when you reach a certain point, you start moving sideways.
Okay.
Moving sideways. You reach there. And what really matters, the real challenge is to train, to change, to sublimate craft into art. You've got all the craft.
Yep.
You've got all the means.
Yeah. Right.
But you've got to make it into art. And that means adding something extra. You don't know how. The mind is a tremendous organ. It comes with such surprising things. It works in ways that you're not conscious of.
Right.
Fabulous, it's fabulous.
Yeah.
God has given us His organ. He's given us this capacity. So we use it.
How much your personal faith influences your poetry?
very...
You seem to be a little bit religious to me, right?
No, I'm trying to be
Yeah.
a good Christian. I'm trying to be a good Christian. I was the last in the family to become Christian.
Right.
Not for any reason. In fact, I was brought up as a Christian. But for various reasons, we were not consistent.
Yeah.
But my son converted, then my daughter, then my wife, and I'm the last. I'm the youngest Christian in the
Right.
family.
Yes. Yes.
And I take it very seriously now, trying to live as best I can, not succeeding very much.
Right. Right.
Because the demands are great, and humility, love, and
Yep,
so on.
yep,
You know,
yep.
I don't tell you,
Right.
you know.
Right.
But I try to do my best, and
Yes.
there are many kinds of failure, you see.
Right. Right. Yeah.
But some are positive, some are useful failures, and so on. So I have started writing a series of poems based on biblical themes. You know, I've got one on Moses. I've got one on Joseph. You know, I've got one on 3 on David.
Yep.
The great king.
Right.
One on Bathsheba. I've written one on Salome, the
Yeah.
one who dances 7
Yeah.
veils, you know, where the last line, John the Baptist in prison, and I make him say something ironic. Please bring my food on a platter. Because his head ends up on a platter,
Yep.
you know. So the religious faith, I'm sure it affects me. I'm sure it shapes my attitude to certain themes and so on.
Yep.
You know, but if I'm writing a poem about the Merlion, I don't think the Christian faith will shape me. No, it'll only affect you when it comes to perceptions of life and context, where there's a moral issue.
Right. Right.
You know,
Right.
and then
right.
it comes straight in. It feeds
Yeah.
straight in.
Yeah.
Zubi pampara, zubi parampam. Zubi nache, kyun pagal stupid man.
Zooby-dooby pampara, zooby-dooby param-pam. Zooby-dooby nache, you pagal stupid man.
शाखों पे पत्ते गा रहे हैं, फूलों पे भव